I love seeing students growing and beginning to reach out to other students. That's really, really, really inspiring to me, and something that I really love seeing in the work that I get to do. I like being able to interact with a lot of different parts of the campus, different departments or different organizations, and other groups outside of the campus as well. Whether it's other faith-based organizations, other churches, getting to collaborate with them, or whether it's places that we serve, like nursing homes and food cupboards and other places that we intersect in other ways, just the getting to work with so many different other organizations as well. Let's see what's challenging about my job. I think my particular ministry, in campus ministry, one of the challenges is helping people to understand exactly what my role is there, because my job is to be present to the university. I serve the university and the people of the university. That's what the bishop has sent me to do. But I don't work for the university, and so just building that relationship. And I'm fortunate that Slippery Rock has always been so open to the presence of our ministry and other ministries and faith-based presence there, and welcomed me personally. But just helping people to really understand who I am and what I'm there for and what I can hopefully offer to serve any needs. That's a challenge, because as soon as people kind of really start to understand that, the community is so fluid, the students change, the faculty changes, the staff changes. So it's a constant of rebuilding those relationships and building those bridges with the university. Advice for someone who'd like to enter this type of work. I think if you feel that you are someone who would really thrive in an environment where you can not only be very open about your faith, but really intersect your faith with the work that you do day to day, then I definitely would encourage you to seek out faith-based organizations, whether it's ministry from a church or other faith-based organizations. There are so many, as Jackie was saying, the possibilities, even just in church ministry, are just so endless, but other faith-based organizations as well. There's just so many different ways to serve, different people to serve, and really an opportunity to draw on what your gifts and talents are and what your passions are. Yeah, I'll stop there and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, thank you guys both so much for sharing. One of the big takeaways I took from you guys is it seems like this field is very flexible, and you can do a lot of many different things and be switching around, which I think is, at least for me, that's something that is really important, because you don't kind of just, some people, I feel like a lot of people don't want to be stuck in like a straight same job 9 to 5 all the time. So it's nice to hear that you guys have some flexibility in what you guys do. Yeah, so now we're going to open it up for questions. So if you guys have any questions for either Jackie or Diane, they'll be here to answer anything you guys have to ask. I have a question. So for any of us that want to get involved in volunteer opportunities, do you have any suggestions for current or upcoming volunteer opportunities, either within the church or just on campus, that we could get involved in?
I was going to say, I would imagine Diane knows, and the organizations that I am connected to and that our church and the various churches are connected to, there are ample opportunities. I realize right now it's difficult. I have a daughter at West Virginia and she needs to get in 25 hours. And she's like, how do I do it? Because a lot of times the things that we would have done a year ago or 18 months ago. But if you reach out to any church near you and say, I would like to know what volunteer opportunities you have. Most of them have people that handle those. We have at our church, we have our local outreach director, we have a global outreach director. So we have people that take care of the volunteers that are working within the church and even outside in the organizations that are in our community. So if there's a particular church that you would like to ask, If you're interested in doing something in the Butler County area, I can find out for you, because we have partners with a number of different organizations here. For instance, some of you might have heard of the Lighthouse, which is over on Route 8, and our church does a lot to help with food insecurity. Connected with the Lighthouse, we provide backpack meals to a local school district and send them home on the weekends. Do a lot of things in that area. We also are down in the city with Light of Life. A lot of churches in this area partner with organizations like Light of Life. So you have a particular interest, you're interested in we have a special needs ministry in our church. If you would like to volunteer with our special needs ministry, that's a really unique area. So I would say that's what I would suggest. Reach out to a church, and if that church doesn't have something that kind of fits your need, and look to I'm not saying, I think small and big churches provide different things. So I would seek both of them, because smaller churches often need volunteers and they can really utilize you, but bigger churches might provide some more, just unique opportunities.
Thank you.
Can I add a little bit to that? I think definitely probably one of the things that we do best in the kind of work that we do, both Jackie and I, is we're good connectors. So I think any student who would come to us and say, this is really what I would love to do, can you help me find an opportunity to do that? We would help connect you to an opportunity to do that. Our ministry and the Rock Catholic organization working together, following the university guidelines, we're pretty restricted in what we can do right now. A lot of the regular service things that we would do, like going into Pittsburgh or going to a shelter in Newcastle, those things we can't leave Slippery Rock, right? So, but we are still doing some in-person service. We have an event coming up on the 15th of March if you want to check on CORE. And you can also participate virtually. We did this last semester. We had students come in and we had a variety of different things that they could do, including writing letters. We have all the supplies there, writing letters to shut-ins, to people in nursing homes, to frontline workers. We had another section of letter writing to military. We're going to be doing some planting of like little, what are those teeny little cute plants called? Succulents. Planting succulents to give to the shut-ins and people in nursing homes. So that'll be one of the projects. We might be bagging things that are going to be donated to a shelter, but we can't go there, but we can drop things off. So we'll have things to be bagging. And if you want to participate, but you don't want to come in person, or you can't come in person because you're doing school from home, but you still want to do something, we can send you supplies and you can still participate. And then, we'll either get those from you or give you a way to send those on to where they need to go. So the students are being very creative and still trying to find ways. And the parish church that we're also kind of connected with, has things going on where there's opportunities to help lead virtual retreats for their junior hires or do virtual activities with the youth ministry. Also they're doing virtual religious formation or Sunday school with the younger kids. You can be a classroom aide or a co-teacher in a situation like that. So there are some things locally and in person that we can still do, but not as much as we wish we could be doing or have done other semesters.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought about this. Would you guys put your emails in the chat actually, so that if people would like to contact you about that stuff, that would be wonderful.
I would also suggest that you might look at on the OCEL website on campus, the Office of Community Engaged Learning, and they are still organizing some, most of the things are in-person service projects, but there's an opportunity to get in touch with the OCEL. And then Barbara, you have some things that the SNA has been doing that you might want to share?
Yeah, so SNA, we're doing 3 virtual volunteer crawls. So if you see this stack of feminine products behind me, we're doing one called Women and Girls currently until March 5th. So we have wish lists that are up on CORE and flyers. So all the flyers and wish lists are up on CORE. So when if you want to buy something, it gets sent directly to our office, or you can drop it off in the 2 bins that we have. They're both in Spots. So like right inside Spots main entrance by the auditorium, there's a drop-off bin that you can put the products in. So that's the one currently going on. Our next one is Hugs for Kids. So we're partnering with the Bethany Foster Care. It's in Slippery Rock. So we're partnering with them, and we're doing stuff geared towards kids, like stuff that they would need, like some hygiene products, some coloring books, crayons, little stuff like that. And then we're doing, that is March 1st through April 2nd. That one's going on. And then our next one, the last one, is Ray of Sunshine. So that is for senior citizens in like the nursing homes. So we have that list also up. So that's going to be geared towards them. And that is April 1st through April 30th. So the flyers are on Core. So.
Do you want to talk about senior notes?
Yeah, so we're also running senior notes. So this is all semester long. You can email them to us here at the SNA office, and they are going to be, we're going to put them in envelopes and distribute them to different personal care homes and nursing homes around Butler County. And they're going to be delivered on like their trays when they're eating. They're going to be distributed somehow through that. We'll give them to a person at the nursing homes, and they will distribute them for us. But if you want to send those, that would be greatly appreciated.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing, guys. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I know that you guys both came and were sharing how you got degrees in kind of other areas and then you just started volunteering. And so I just was wondering how those two things, like, do you see ways in which your degree still plays a role in your ministry? And how did you kind of like, I guess, deal with that change and where you are now and how your passions or what you went to school for plays into that today?
So my undergraduate degrees were in psychology and sociology, and I started working in specialized foster care, and then I worked in mental health. I was a mental health crisis worker and case manager. I did that for a number of years, and then I decided that I wanted to get more involved in administration. So that's when I decided to go back and get my master's in public health at Pitt, and it was in community human services. So I was learning how to plan, I was learning how to evaluate, I was learning how to do needs assessments. And I really think that that is one of the reasons why I still have my interest in mental health, and now I've expanded it to all these other areas. Mental health, I think, touches all of them. So it's not like you say, oh, I'm working in mental health, so I'm not working in special needs. It kind of ties all in. But I really credit my time with the public health degree for my ability to kind of look at bigger pictures and connect things. So I'm not looking at, oh, it's just this, but seeing how everything is connected. And everything that I do is so intermingled now, but it really comes back to, I think, that those larger principles of what is the need here and how do we meet the need, and are we meeting the need, and who do we need to connect with and network with. And then the reason why I decided to do this master's in organizational leadership is because I was being called into all these opportunities to lead, and I thought, I want to be the best leader I can possibly be. I'm a good leader. People are asking me to lead. I'm stepping up, and I think I'm a pretty good leader, but I want to be the best leader that I can be. And so that's when I started to do this degree. And this is allowing me to kind of elevate what I'm doing to that next level. So absolutely, my degrees completely, I would say that the things that I learned in my undergrad, they inspired me and kind of got me connected to what I'm passionate about. I don't necessarily go back to some of those undergrad classes and say, wow, this has really prepared me for this. But it spiked my interest and my passion, got me involved in these areas. And then the other ones are really preparing me for what I'm doing.
I think when I started in music therapy, I really had that sense of wanting to minister to people, like a healing kind of occupation. And I loved music, so that was a really good mix of those two for me. And I think that part of that desire in me just grew. And I still love music, and I still am involved in doing music in different ways, but the ministering to people, the caring part of the therapy side, really, I think, is what took me down the other road. I added on the music education because I love to teach. I just also really love to teach, and I did my master's in education. I love to teach, and I get to do that as well. So music was the common denominator, I think, at first, because it was a passion of mine. And my faith was also a passion. And I think intersecting my faith with the teaching and the caring for just took me in a different direction. And the music is still there, but in a different way.
And if I could, just a cheap plug here, I talked about the nonprofit management program here at Slippery Rock. So Abby, what's your degree? What's your major?
I'm an integrated marketing communications major.
Okay, so let me just give you an example. Every church has marketing that has to be done. So you could do your major with any church. The Catholic Charities is a faith-based nonprofit organization. The Salvation Army, not their stores, but the Salvation Army is a faith-based nonprofit organization. In fact, one of our alums runs the summer youth program for the Salvation Army for Western Pennsylvania. Somebody has to market those programs, or else no one would even know that that was a possibility to go to those camps. Somebody has to tell the story about Catholic Charities and what they're doing to help people who are homeless, or immigrants who are trying to resettle. So that skill set that you're learning in integrated marketing can take place at Coca-Cola, and you're going to make money for Coca-Cola and for their investors, or it can take place in a nonprofit organization like a faith-based organization, where you're, instead of making profit, you're making mission. And I mention that because it's, what year are you at school?
I'm a freshman.
Okay, so you could do, theoretically, you could do the nonprofit major side by side with integrated marketing. And not only do you learn the specialized strategies of how do you do integrated marketing and communications, but you could also learn, how does the nonprofit work? Where do they get their money from? How do they recruit volunteers? So doing those two things together, and it's pretty easy. Our degree is pretty flexible. There are 6 required courses, but the rest of them are sort of by choice. So let's say that you wanted to do, I had a student one time who wanted to do the nonprofit, but they wanted to do nonprofits and faith-based organization. And so there are classes around campus, like we teach a sociology class called Religion and Society. And there's a class in the philosophy department about the history of religion. So there are all different kinds of things that you could take. We have courses like on social justice. So to put those courses together with the 6 required ones, now you leave Slippery Rock with a degree in integrated marketing, but also a degree in nonprofit management, and you're ready to take those marketing skills to nonprofits to help them meet their mission. So you might, I mean, we can talk about that more if you'd like to. I'll put my contact information in the chat too. If, as I said, you know, we're the only one who has the nonprofit management. Almost every school has a marketing degree. Almost every school has a comm degree, but you could leave with a unique set that would position you to have something, you know, over the competition. I guess you could say it's a level.
Okay, so if there are not any more questions, just making sure. Okay, then yeah, we can go ahead and pull up the presentation again. And we can see your screen, by the way, if that's what you're wondering. You look confused. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Are you seeing the whole screen or just the presentation?
No, we're seeing the presentation. You're good.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna do the gift card raffle. So again, I think everybody already has, but if you didn't, put your name, major, email, and if you are on campus or living at home right now doing stuff online. If you come to all 6 of the SNA events or some of the other ones we have going on, you can be entered into a raffle for a $50 gift card. So there's just a little bit on that. So yeah, Alice, do you have the names in a little thing? Yeah.
So I have them in my handy dandy bowl. You can see that I'm not looking. And so the winner for this one is John Cater. So we'll you might need to put your send me your mailing address, or John, put it in the chat if that's okay with you. If not, you can email it to me, and that way we can email you the gift cards. So Alexis, you want to talk about what's coming up next?
Yeah. So this is the second in our 6-part series for the Change the World series. So the next one is going to be on March 4th during the common hour from 12:30 to 1:30, so the same time as this one. It's going to be careers and nonprofits that support individuals with disabilities. So if you would like to attend that, that'll be open to you guys. I believe you'll have to register for that one as well on the core page. And if you need any other information about that, you can email me, Barbara. We'd all be happy to help you with some information on that. And thank you guys all for coming. I really appreciate you all attending. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you, Jackie and Diane, for coming to speak. You guys did wonderful, and we really appreciate all you had to say.
So do any of you have ideas of other kinds of work in the nonprofit sector? If we're going to continue to do these professional development workshops, are there any other things that you might be interested in us doing? And so I guess I would like to ask just about some feedback. So if you have something else, that's great. But what are you going to take? What are you taking with you at 1:20 that you didn't have at 12:20? Kind of a takeaway from this. Anything?
I think for me, it would be that there's lots of different opportunities. You just really need to kind of identify what you want to do and then find an organization that fits with you.
My takeaway from this, I said this earlier, but I took away that nonprofits are very much something that's flexible. You can work in a lot of different areas, and kind of, I feel like it's kind of goes with the whole not every day is the same, which is kind of a great thing, I think. So
Anybody else?
Yeah, listening to Jackie and Diane, it's interesting to see how they just both got started by volunteering. So trying to hop into something like this, you'd see the importance of volunteering and not just trying to jump into like a job, but just getting involved in what you're interested in first.
I think one of the cool things about faith-based work and obviously all of you are very comfortable with your faith. You know, Jackie said sometimes you have to just let go and let God. And instead of trying to hammer our way into something, you know, sometimes getting quiet and letting the Spirit move in us, and you'll be surprised where it would take you, I think. I want to just offer something that might be of use to you. Are you seeing something that says GuideStar at the top? Okay, yes. So GuideStar is a website that has a list of about there are 1.6 million nonprofits in the United States, and about 15% of the country works in nonprofits. So if you go to GuideStar, you have to register, but it's free. I just did a very quick search on faith-based organizations in Pennsylvania, and there are 93 faith-based organizations in Pennsylvania. These are places that if you were thinking about doing an internship and you knew that you wanted to do something, some sort of faith-based piece, these are organizations in Pennsylvania. You could also do it just for Pittsburgh, and I don't want to take up too much time, but you could just do it for Pittsburgh. And you can do it for any place that you'd like. And in Pittsburgh, there are 62 nonprofit organizations that identify themselves as faith-based organizations. And not everybody that works in these organizations is paid, but somebody has to run the place. Somebody has to do the fundraising. And not all of those people are pastors or priests. You know, Diane and Jackie and others have to be that support staff that know how to do managing, know how to do marketing, know how to do finance, know how to do counseling, and lots of places to do those majors that you have in faith-based organizations. So
our administrative pastor was working for UPMC and then came to Grace because we were growing so fast. Our pastor, you know, a lot of times pastors will be doing everything and next thing they're growing and they can't do everything. So then they start bringing in all these additional people. So we were growing so fast, we were adding a new building and needed to just have all these new policies and procedures. And we needed an administrative pastor to just handle all of those administrative details. So now he's like the CEO of our church administration. Like I said, we had like the CEO of our church family ministry, and they bring all these different skills. But it's so true. It's really eclectic. Everything you can think of, you can do in faith-based.
Great. So Alexa, thank you so much for being a great hostess and for putting this together and getting the word out. The rest of you, if you know anybody who's interested in some other area, look on our page on CORE. We meet, the Student Nonprofit Alliance meets every Wednesday night every other Wednesday from 7:45 to 9. And you don't have to be in major to get involved. So you're more than welcome. Some of you are looking for service opportunities on campus. There's lots to do. So thanks everybody. Have a great rest of the semester. Thanks again, Alexa, for your work, and Jackie and Diane for what you do every day and for spending some time with us. Awesome.